not the way I would have worded it.
Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, how else would you even put that? Either way.
Probably going to get some time off anyway.
Let's be honest, you're punching somebody in the face, you're probably getting some time off. This, to me, is what good policing looks like. When it's done with officer discretion and without a lot of the politics of it. What's going on, Internet? It's Josh and Bill again, here with Only Cops. We are doing a take 2 on Southland. So we're going to look at some scenes from Southland. Come ride 2 men with us while we look at these clips.
The best show.
The best
I'm
show.
saying it right now.
Yeah.
The best cop show.
So let's go ahead and see. This is called the iPod scene.
Hey, see this? Pervert's upskirt.
Pause it. That's what we call an offense in your presence. Good eye.
Which happens way more than you think it does.
Yeah, good eye on this.
Something's wrong with your iPod. What? Yeah.
Oh, hold on, man.
No, I don't know. Hang on a second. I think it's got a... Well, I think they're in...
Nice nail polish.
Yeah. Oh, talk about an absolute beast.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's not supposed to do that. It's not. It's... I just don't even... Did you want that? I'm sorry.
You're sorry? Come on.
Yeah, damn. You know what? If you got a complaint, though, you can call this
What a
number
savage
right here.
animal.
Now, you just explain to them what was on your iPod and what you were doing with it, and I'm sure they'll replace it for you.
Savage. So, this is like what makes me happy about this clip and what makes me sad all at the same time. This, to me, is what good policing looks like. When it's done with officer discretion and without a lot of the politics of it. I totally understand why, in a lot of situations, officers are not given that much latitude to do stuff, because it could be super easily abused. However, that girl got to at least not have to deal with the whole process of having to be informed and then feeling victimized.
He saved her from victimhood.
That's what I'm saying. And he was able to solve this issue while giving it to this guy and we're getting some level of justice out of it.
And some humor
yes.
for us.
And some humor. You look at this rookie's face. I'd be pumped about it too.
I would be like in awe of my corporal.
But I will
they
say
done
this.
Anything like that.
And this is my question to the audience here is, would you rather have, if body cam's on and they see what they do and they document a report, is that I took this and I used my officer discretion, I broke the device, so on and so forth, and because I saw what was happening in my presence, I did X, Y, Z. Would you rather them have that much discretion, even with body cams, so that you can see it and see it's not being abused? Or would you rather them go through what today's policing would require, talking to her about it, having to actually see that he saw something on that camera, because we'd have to observe this, go through the trial, have to show that evidence then to a jury to go and prosecute this, and then kind of go through all the interview process and the subpoena process, or have it get fixed like that? That would be my question to people. There was a lot of times on marijuana arrests, I solved them a lot of times with this. I was like, I get that it's prohibited. I don't really feel like taking this kid to jail. It's like a tenth of an ounce of weed. I literally put it right on the ground, stomp it out, and be like, hey, I couldn't find a usable amount. I had my PC for the search because I could smell it. And I'd go blade them for like the grinder they had that clearly had
the paraphernalia.
So I'd blade them for paraphernalia. I would document. I had to take the evidence, go book it into evidence for my paraphernalia citation. They could see if they really wanted to test it, to contest whether or not it was actual marijuana. They could fight the ticket. But that's officer discretion, I think, used in a really good way. Same thing kind of with minors. I go pick up some teens doing it in the park. It's there and be like, hey, you guys need to go home. And if they didn't leave, I would actually go and...
You want to go pick up teens doing it in the park?
No, I'm saying, like, make them go home as opposed to go through the whole process of getting them out of the car, verifying that they're doing all what they're doing. There's an easier way to do this than having to, throw people in jail or use the criminal justice system to solve what I believe could be easier problems to be fixed.
Pastor Brown comment of you.
Hopefully those Darman. Oh, was that the lectures with Luis?
Luis. Sorry. My bad.
Anyways, but yeah, I'd be curious to see if people put in the comment section below. Are you for or not for officer discretion, as long as it's documented properly through reports?
Get him over here.
Piece of sick sucker punched me. Told me I looked at him wrong. He only made it half a block thanks to these guys.
You need medical attention?
No. But I want a free hit.
You want to hit him back?
I would like to, sir.
No cameras. All free and clear. I can live with that.
I think
Oh,
I can
Lucy
too.
Lou.
I didn't even do anything.
Hey, nobody asked for your version of events. All right, hands behind your back, your chin in the air. What'll it be?
Take your best shot, bitch.
You want to lead with your shoulder, you want to pivot, and then you want your arm to follow last, okay?
Lucy Lou.
Thanks, officer. I can handle this.
All right, hang on a second. Here's the rules. You flinch, you go to jail.
You duck, you go to jail. You got that?
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, on 3. 1,
Oh, yeah.
2, 3.
Thank you, officer.
Have a good day, sir.
Ma'am, appreciate it.
Feel better?
I
Much
respect
better.
Sure.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
The
it.
bitch now.
As I talk about officer discretion and
Yeah, I was
things
just
of
gonna
that
say,
nature,
do you want to ask the same question on this clip?
the reason I had all the apprehension I did when I was talking about it in the first clip about how this is very easily abused and things of that nature, there's probably example A of how that could be abused.
I don't know. If
could
I'd call
argue
that
with
abuse.
possible official oppression and things of that nature. But I will say this. In Texas, we could talk about mutual combat, and as long as these people are consenting to what's going on, theoretically this is a ticket that's discretionable on whether or not I issue it or not. To let these parties go with knowing that there was a mutual understanding that there was no further threat of
It
violence.
was pretty mutual to me. We'll
Depending,
just take away the part where they threaten to take him to jail.
yeah,
No big
yeah.
deal.
That again, I can totally see. This is why body cams exist now. Thank you for 90s cops and 80s cops for making that a thing. But this is totally why this exists. Because it wouldn't surprise me if stuff like this didn't happen.
They got these stories from somewhere.
Exactly. That being said, it's pretty gangsta of what happened here. Legally speaking, and especially from like a oath of office standpoint, is some pretty egregious things happening here.
But if you have 2 veteran officers, I could totally see this going down.
So I would not advise that if there's any officers watching this. I know it seems cool for Hollywood, but this is not something you should ever want to be doing in the streets. But it does make for good television. In the ignorant mind of somebody watching this for entertainment, this is kind of funny, and in good policing, it's a good tongue-in-cheek joke. But in the actual world where the law matters and you can't use your office to pressure people into taking a sucker punch, let's not do this type of stuff. Although I shout out to Lucy Lou, that was pretty gangster. So we'll go on to the
really
next
sucker
clip.
punch. He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming. Yeah, you're right.
We're here to investigate a child abuse complaint.
I didn't call the police.
I did. She hit me with the belt.
Is that true, ma'am?
I found out from Daniel's teacher. He's been cutting class. And when I asked him about it, he lied. So I hit him.
There is no age discrimination on who can and cannot call the police. And it is up to you to kind of know a little bit about the law before you start calling the police to go levy charges and things of that nature. However, my understanding of Texas Penal Code, as long as the physical discipline is reasonable and is not causing some level of permanent injury to the child, as long as there's a disciplinary aspect of the punishment, this is going to be pretty kosher.
We'll wait until you see what he says.
Yeah. In Texas, you very legal to hit your kid.
How long ago did this happen?
A few hours ago.
How many times she hit you?
3. Whacked me right on the butt.
She hit you anywhere
I
else?
like that he's
No.
asking all the questions to make sure it's not
Hit you
child
with her
abuse.
fist or another object?
No. Just the belt.
Has this happened before?
No.
All right, I'm going to take that belt and put it into evidence.
I've been acting out a little, and I felt like I had to. Am I going to jail?
You called the police on your mom because she disciplined you for ditching school.
That's child abuse. I've got rights.
Who told you that?
My friends.
Hit him again. You know what? You got some bad advice from your buddies from the playground, pal. You don't ever call the police on your mom. Had that been my mom, you'd be calling me from the floor. I gotta be back here again. Because you were ditching class, I'm gonna peel this big belt off, and I'm gonna hit you myself. You got it?
John.
Get inside. Have a nice day.
What an old school cop, man. So and the audience will have to forgive me. I was whooped as a kid.
Me too.
If I had a kid that did something egregious like that,
And if I would have called the cops,
Yeah.
oh boy.
So
Oh boy.
I understand there's a current movement about how if you're doing everything correctly the right way, you shouldn't be having to be hitting your kid. And I totally agree with most of that sentiment.
Really? 'Cause
However,
kids these days are...
However, if you have ever had a kid that is starting to act out in a way that you, for some odd reason, fail to have the skills to handle yourself, again, at least in Texas, and I don't know how the law is everywhere else, you do have a legal latitude of doing that. I mean, honestly, you own your child as a person before the age of 18. There's a lot of limitations on your rights as a child. That being said,
It's not the way I would have worded it.
yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, how else would you even put it that way? I mean, you have conservatorship over the child. That's a more legal way of putting it. I mean, you can control where they go, what they do. I'm telling you,
She's free,
well,
bro.
she is free. She
She's
finally,
free.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brittany, who was not a child, she was a grown woman.
Free belt kid.
Free belt kid. All I'm getting at is that don't ever, if for some odd reason a kid gets through the filter and happens to get to this video, obviously if you feel like you're being abused, you should be able to reach out, and police should be able to be there to be a safe place for you to give that.
But your parents own you, so you're screwed.
That's kind of what I'm saying. At least in Texas, it's the case. There is a fine line between discipline and abuse. I think the measurement legally in Texas is going to be when you're edging, or you're going from the edge of pain to like SBI, like visible bodily injury. If you're causing bruising, if the kid is bleeding from this type of stuff, it's no longer going to be considered a reasonable discipline, physical discipline for the kid. And then you absolutely can be charged with child abuse. I've worked plenty of cases where this kid's got like a black eye, and I'm like, I mean, that's going to be child. It's an injury to a child's a felony in Texas. Mm-hmm. So to the parents out there going buck wild on their kid trying to hit them, be careful. I think teachers and anybody else that has any education on this knows that we have a duty to report these things. And as a police officer, it's something that I do look for. Questions I do ask is, if they're being disciplined or they're anything. Hey, how did you get that bruise on you? Hey, how did you? Because you do have to be an advocate for everybody that's there, whether they're perpetrated to you or presented to you as the victim, or as some snotty-nosed kid calling PD because he was mad that his mom spanked him. You do have to be advocates for everybody. I think it's probably the best way to approach this type of stuff, especially nowadays, and especially with us knowing a little bit more about how psychology works with kids. We're not experts. We just can only apply the law, and our ability to interact with these things begin and end with the law. Ask a CPS worker on how much latitude we really do have when intervening with kids and discipline.
Good luck talking to them.
So we've got Ben Sherman punches a girl. This is bound to be gold here.
It's a shame to break this up. Sorry, but you guys have all got to go. The owner doesn't want you here. The owner wants you gone. I want you gone. Let's go. Come on, clear out. Clear out. Let's go. Party's over.
So if a property owner that owns private property wants you to go, you got to go. It's that simple. Now, you could give a general criminal trespass warning to everybody there. Is basically what they're doing right now, is giving them an opportunity to disperse and to leave private property. They literally move this to the sidewalk. This probably the officers would have next to no. The problem would be there is
a lot of people on one sidewalk.
What I was going to say is that you cannot block commerce. And this is really kind of where these laws come into effect. It doesn't interrupt commerce or people's ability to use facilities that are provided for individuals. Again, sidewalks, things of that nature. So if you start to block easements and you block stuff that's supposed to allow people to travel or to use a space the way that it's intended to be used, law enforcement probably will be called to disperse you from
they could just move to the sidewalk in this one.
I agree. But I from a legal standpoint, I think they're perfectly within that, and a property owner is allowed to ask whether it's their house or a business and things of that nature. So this is perfectly kosher. It happens often. I probably had this a bunch of times. I don't know that I'd walk into a huge crowd of people like that, but...
We ain't doing nothing. Get out of my face, I'm gonna have to arrest you. Let's go. Hey, whoa. You can't put your hands on a cop. Now your parents are gonna have to bail you out of jail.
Get your hands off her!
Hey, whoa.
No, I'm not. Come on, let us
Partner,
down.
get back.
You ain't even doing that.
Dismiss.
If I could give general advice for anybody out there, throwing hands with the cops is probably not going to end well. I totally understand if you're objecting to what's going on. The rest of the people in this crowd are doing exactly what you need to be doing if you don't like what's going on. That is recording it, giving whatever verbal First Amendment protected disagreements you'd like to hurl at said officer affecting an arrest. I'd be curious to see how this officer handles this interaction. If somebody's becoming what we would call actively aggressing against you, or assaultive resistance is another way that we might put that. You can Google assaultive resistance and how that affects the use of force continuum and see how it gets applied here.
Oh!
Yeah! Oh! What are you gonna do?
Back up! Get back!
It's kosher.
You're back! Back!
To be honest.
We weren't doing anything.
I don't like his form. I don't think you should close your fist for that. You probably keep a palm heel strike, probably perfectly appropriate.
She spit in his face after hitting him 3 times.
Just back up off. I'm just saying, I don't want him to break his hand. I guess you get some time off if you break your hand. Either way,
Probably gonna get some time off anyway.
let's be honest. You punching somebody in the face, you're probably getting some time off. I blame the backup officer in this. Simply this other guy here that was just chilling with the crowd, not doing anything. I also am a smidge mad at that officer for trying to arrest somebody by themselves. That's stupid. However,
well, he
the
wasn't
big
himself.
Darwin Award goes to the lady that decides punching a cop 3 times and spitting in their face is a good idea. Technically, any kind of transfer of bodily fluid to somebody else is an assault, and assaulting a peace officer is a felony. And if that officer has a reason to believe that he's going to be subject to some level of injury, which getting punched in the face would be one, or being spit in the face would open you up to possible contaminants as far as STDs, things of that nature, other bloodborne diseases. Getting punched in the face, though, I think is a quick way of, again, getting yourself probably fired. There's other ways you could have detained that person for the assault in progress. With your hands being busy and with you having to deal with 2 people, that's probably the most expeditious way he probably could have handled that. I have other suggestions, and we'll make some training videos on empty hand techniques that work a little better than a closed-handed fist punch to the face. But FAFO, right? I still getting that acronym.
Practice a few times again.
I have. We'll keep playing the clip.
You're back!
We weren't doing anything.
Hey! Everybody back! Get home! This party is over!
He's mad because he knows what's going to happen.
You all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. Come on, get out of my way. Get back. Hey! It's time to go home, now! Oh, you want to get cuffed up next? Get in your cars and get out of here! Get out of here!
Yep. That's. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably give that same look. I'd be super pissed off about being involved in that.
Well,
I'd
he
be pretty
contributed
pissed
to
off.
it. So.
That's what I'm getting at. If you don't want stuff like that to happen, like obviously nobody ever got on the radio and called for more units, and
that's kind of what you get when you're trying to teach a rookie a lesson.
Yeah. So again, safety should be above all, and above all else, the primary concern with everything. You should do everything safely. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if that's probably back then how PTOs acted and did real reckless stuff that's super dangerous and puts rookies in a situation that got to punch chicks in the face. But, you don't affect the rest by yourself. You don't disperse a crowd with 2 people. And if you're going to disperse a crowd, walking into the middle of the crowd is pretty ineffective. I had during riot season in 2020, I watched 5 rookies walk into I'll just leave it at riot season.
Rabbit season. Duck season.
I had about 5 rookies decide to walk out on foot into a group of like 400 people, like a bunch of 13-year-old boys at the Sadie Hawkins dance, asking everyone to politely leave while they're doing donuts in their cars.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, I didn't do that.
It was not a crowd of people that were police friendly.
Wasn't terribly pro-police. There was some chants being yelled at us and things like that. I stayed in my patrol car and I got on the speaker and I made my siren very annoying until they dispersed and it worked. They got bricks thrown at their windshields and stuff like that because they abandoned their vehicles in a place that they couldn't see or secure. So tough lessons from the streets for that group of rookies that, God bless them, are probably still on the streets. You guys are better. You guys are the real
they
deals.
are.
Yeah, but again, you played them games, you get them prizes. Don't spit on the police or punch them, or you're probably gonna get punched back. Don't do that to anybody. To be honest, I think like the rules are pretty applicable across the board.
The police are probably not going to show up and let you punch each other in the face.
Yeah.
So.
I think overall, again, it's an interesting look at officer discretion in a lot of this stuff, and probably why a lot of that has gotten diminished, and why officers need to be very careful when applying the little discretion that they do have, because if you abuse it, you lose it. So, again, be careful out there. Make good decisions if you're law enforcement. If you're a fan of law enforcement stuff, go check out our TikTok and our other skits. We have other officers reacts that we do, and then we go live doing Let's Plays, and then Bill and I do podcasts periodically.
That's right.
Where we answer questions and do current events.
Meme reviews.
So thanks for watching, or thanks for riding 2-Man with us as we watch Southland, and until we see you next time, peace.